All right, so the movie kicks off and bam, we're back at 1964. There's this couple, Del and Sue, hanging out in a swamp, and he's about to propose. Super romantic, right? But then they hear this creepy voice crying out like, "Daddy, Daddy!" Del thinks someone's in trouble, so they go looking. They find this hunter dude who heard it too. They're all just standing there talking, and then whoosh, a hatchet flies out of nowhere and chops the hunter's head clean off. So obviously, Del and Sue totally freak out and start running for their lives. But this monster guy, Victor Crowley, catches up to them. He gets Del first, and then he just demolishes Sue, like literally tears her into pieces. So messed up. These three are his first ever victims. Okay, so that was the first time Victor Crowley ever killed anyone. Now flash forward 10 years. We meet this guy, Andrew. He's the only survivor from this huge massacre that happened in that same swamp. He got away by hiding in a boat. And yeah, Mary Beth from the other movies, she's dead. So now Andrew is like famous. He wrote this book about surviving called I, Survivor, and he's on this talk show to promote it. And get this, the host is his ex-wife, Sabrina. Everyone on the show is talking about how like 40 people died in the massacre, but here's the crazy part. Nobody believes in Victor Crowley. They all think Andrew is the killer. He's been blamed for it this whole time. Okay, so then we meet this girl, Chloe. She's with her friends and they're filmmakers. They want to make a movie about the murders, and they think Andrew can help them. So they go to his book signing and wait in this huge line. Chloe finally gets to him and starts pitching her movie idea. But his manager, this woman Kathleen, just shuts her down completely. She grabs Andrew and ends the whole thing. Chloe's plan is a total disaster. But then Kathleen tells Andrew she has a much bigger deal for him. They've been offered a ton of money for an interview back at the swamp.
So he's like, no way, I'm never going back to that swamp. But then Kathleen tells him the big deal. The interview is for $1 million. And suddenly, he's totally on board. He gets on this private plane, and who's sitting there? His ex-wife, Sabrina. Turns out, she's the one doing the interview. So awkward. Okay, so meanwhile, Chloe and her film crew friends get to the swamp to shoot a trailer for their movie. But the place is a total joke now. It's like a theme park. They're selling little Victor Crowley souvenirs and stuff. They meet this tour guide, Dylan, who tells them nobody really cares about the legend anymore. But Chloe knows the real story. She knows about the curse that created Victor Crowley, but she doesn't know exactly how to say it. So what does she do? She looks it up on YouTube. She's literally watching videos of people chanting the curse to learn how. All right, back to the plane. Andrew and Sabrina are getting ready for the interview. The plan is to film Andrew's face the second he sees the swamp again. But Andrew is just faking it all. As the plane starts to shake, the makeup artist is like, "Don't worry, planes don't just crash." Famous last words, right? Because the plane immediately goes down. It's a total disaster. This one guy, Zach, just falls right out of the plane and splats on the ground in front of another passenger named Rose. Everyone is horrified. And then the film crew on the ground hears the crash. Dylan and Rose start running towards the plane, while Alex, another crew member, tries to help Chloe, who's totally shaken up. And get this, Chloe's phone falls on the ground, and the video of the curse just keeps playing out loud in the empty swamp. Uh-oh. Okay, so inside the crashed plane, this girl, Casey, is trapped under a seat. Her friend Austin is trying to pull her out, but he can't. The pilots are both dead. Dylan and Rose get there, and they all try to free Casey, but the plane is filling up with water, and she's starting to drown. Dylan's like, "I'll run to my boat and get some tools to cut her out." So they all start to head outside. But just as Dylan and Andrew are about to leave, they hear it, that creepy voice crying, "Daddy!" Andrew recognizes it, and he just freaks out. He screams at everyone to get back inside the plane. Dylan doesn't want to go back in, but Andrew just forces him inside and locks the door. At the same time, Chloe and Alex hear the voice too. They go looking for it and end up at Crowley's old house, which was blown up in the last movie. It's now like a creepy museum display with his old hatchet and belt sander and stuff. They feel like they're being watched. And then bam! Victor Crowley just appears out of nowhere and snatches Alex.
He just beats Alex to a pulp with a hammer and then cuts his head off. So awful. Chloe sees this and just runs. Victor Crowley grabs his hatchet and starts chasing her. She makes it back to the crashed plane with him right on her tail. He grabs her and just smashes her face into the plane's window over and over. Then he throws her on the ground. For some reason, he just decides she's too fat to bother with and just leaves her there. Inside the plane, Casey is still drowning. And then a snake swims in. Kathleen totally freaks out and runs outside. But she has no idea that Crowley is on top of the plane. Austin goes to shut the door, sticks his head out, and whack! Crowley swings his hatchet, and Austin's head just flies off and lands right in Andrew's hands. His brain even falls out of his skull. So gross. Kathleen manages to get a cell signal and calls the cops. But before she can say anything, Crowley chops her arm off and kills her. Then he finishes off Chloe by just stomping on her face until it's mush. And then poor Casey finally drowns. Everyone just has to watch her die, and they can't do anything about it. Then in the middle of all this, Andrew and Sabrina start fighting. She's like, Kathleen lied to you. The interview was only for $25,000, not $1 million. And right then, Kathleen's dead body just slumps against the window and her phone is ringing. Rose grabs it, but it stops ringing and they can't unlock it because it has a passcode. Now Crowley starts cutting into the plane with his belt sander, but he accidentally hits some live wires and somehow this turns the plane's power back on. Dylan, the tour guide, has this insane idea. He's like, if the power is on, we can start the jet engine and suck Crowley into the turbine. So he runs to the cockpit to try and start the engine. Everyone else escapes out of the hole Crowley cut in the plane. Andrew stays behind to distract Crowley and save Dylan. But then Sabrina and Rose start arguing, and Sabrina just snatches the phone and runs off. Of course, Crowley hears them and comes after them. Rose manages to climb a tree to save herself, but Sabrina gets all the way to the boat and realizes she doesn't have the key. Crowley finds her hiding because her phone starts ringing again. She turns it off, but it's too late. He gets her. Dylan finally gets the jet engine to start. Andrew gets back just as Rose comes running toward them with Crowley right behind her. He grabs Rose and is about to kill her with his hatchet. Andrew, who found a gun on the plane, starts shooting at Crowley. Rose grabs the hatchet and tries to fight back. Andrew shoots again but misses. And then Dylan does something crazy. He just tackles Crowley and shoves them both into the running jet engine. They both get shredded to bits. It's a total disaster, and Dylan sacrificed himself. But it's not over. We see someone watching from the trees. And who is it? It's Mary Beth. She's alive. She raises her gun, ready to finally finish Victor Crowley for good. And that's how the movie ends.